Alright, JD here for 90s Sports Nostalgia. Thank you so much for your interest in the video. If you go ahead, subscribe, like, share, I greatly appreciate it. So, I wanted to kind of make a unique top 5 list of NBA players in the 90s. So I decided to do something very different. That is just 5 players so I thought had the quickest first step in the NBA during the 90s. This is just from watching so many NBA games in the 90s and just like looking at these 5 players like, wow, they don't really have to do anything special. They can just go with that first step go. They get like to the side of the defender and then they just blow past the defender. So these players aren't in any particular order. I know I have a 6'10 guy on this list, which might be questionable, but just looking at him on film, very impressive. So basically I have a power forward, a small forward, and like 3 players around that point guard size. So let's start with it. So like I said, this isn't in any particular order. I'm gonna kind of go from tallest to shortest. So first guy, Shawn Kemp. And Shawn Kemp just so gifted athletically. And Shawn Kemp, like, when you see him in the post, I mean, he's had so many highlights of him just spinning towards the baseline, but also when he spins towards the lane, when he takes that first step towards the lane, like so quickly, he's like right to the side of his defender, and then of course he gets higher off the ground, he gets quicker off the ground than his defender and also gets higher than his defender, makes him really hard to defend. Also, Kemp, he had some moments where he's in the triple threat position, get by his defender, and just that first step, he's just so quick, so gifted athletically, so I put Shawn Kemp there. Then I'll go with Grant Hill, and just in the small forward position, like Grant Hill, his first step was just so quick. Scottie Pippen, the 2 players I thought Scottie Pippen had the most difficult guarding were Kobe Bryant and Grant Hill. Part of that was Grant Hill's first step, just so quick. He has that, what did I say? He has like that trademark move where he starts off slow, going through the legs, and he'll just explode with the crossover. But even, like I said, Pippen had a tough time at times guarding Grant Hill because of that quick first step. Next guy, I'm going to go with Kevin Johnson. He was explosive. Now, he didn't really have to do anything special as compared to the next guy I'm going to talk about in this list, but Kevin Johnson, he could just like kind of simply go through his legs and just exploding it by his defender. His first step was just so quick, and Kevin Johnson, a wonderful point guard. The next guy I'm going to go on this list, Allen Iverson. Now, Allen Iverson, different than Kevin Johnson. Allen Iverson, he'd really dribble the ball more. He kind of set up his defender, but also like when Allen Iverson, he was in that like triple threat position with the ball down low, he could just simply get by his defender or get to the side of his defender with just one quick step. And Larry Brown, who came in, really did the smart move by moving Iverson to the shooting guard. And it always baffled me why NBA coaches want to put Iverson as point guard, just because he dribbled the ball so much. And he's not really your typical point guard, but when Larry Brown moved him to shooting guard, created an offense with the Iverson cut, with Iverson coming across the lane, running parallel to the baseline, it was a great offense set up for Iverson. And I want to do a video later about that team, of how Philadelphia built up that team that went to the finals. So Allen Iverson put there. And now the next guy, this might be surprising. I really want to talk about him. He was the player I put on the thumbnail, and that is Robert Pack. And the thing about Robert Pack, he came off the bench early on in his career with Portland and Denver, and I saw a good amount of him in Portland and Denver. Whenever I saw him, it's like no one could stop him. Like, he would just go, nothing special. He'd just go and no one could stop him from getting a lane to get into the bucket. And I was like, wow, this guy's like the quickest. He has like one of the quickest first steps ever. And one of the great in-game dunkers. I mean, what's strange about Robert Pack, I know I'm talking about first steps, but I just want to talk about this. Robert Pack, like when he went up for a dunk and he made contact with the defender, like the defender would start his descent, but Pack, he would just somehow just float in air while his defender's going down in, and he had some monster dunks. One of his probably his most famous dunk was Game 3, was at the 94 first round against the Sonics. They took out the first seed Sonics, and Denver was the 8th seed. Robert Pack, he did get a chance to play in Washington. He started 31 games, his minutes went up. He put up his best numbers, and then went to New Jersey and went to Dallas. When Don Nelson acquired him from Dallas in the trade for Jim Jackson, Don Nelson said that Sean Bradley and Robert Pack, that they were the cornerstone players in this deal coming to Dallas. Some people might have questioned it, but I think I saw what Nelson said. Like, he was just so explosive, so dynamic, quickness, speed, and vertical leap. And I was thinking about this, like, should I do this about like also greatest athletes? But I don't know who is the greatest athlete in the NBA. Like, of course, on my list about greatest athletes, but I told Robert Pack in there. I'm not trying to do this as like a hot take, but if you put a gun to my head, I might say Robert Pack was the best athlete in the 90s. I mean, he didn't have the basketball skills. Obviously, it was like Jordan and others. But I just want to talk about Robert Pack. And like I said, this wasn't any particular order. These are just 5 NBA players that I thought had the quickest first step by just seeing them play. Go ahead. I know I'm probably missing some players might disagree with, so go ahead, put those in the comments. And thank you so much for your interest in this video, and have a good one. Thank you.